Hi guys, this is FPL Tips and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League live stream. Hi Ryan, hi Ajat, hi David, hi Varun, hi Mustafa. Yes, all the regulars are tuned in. How's your game week going, guys? Mine was pretty decent till now. We have Cal Antonio in my team, and the move paid off. The ones who tuned in for the deadline stream knew that I was going to make this transfer after the league lineups, and the league lineups came out, and we brought him in, and it paid off. It totally paid off. Thanks, Mustafa. I think my shout was also for Sterling. That was the second move we were planning. If Antonio was benched, I would have brought in Sterling, and that would have paid off too. So the people who stuck to the stream knew that I would have captained Sterling, and I also recommended it to a lot of people. So congratulations to everyone who went on with that. Ryan says it's 77. Yajat says 69. David says please do a free hit draft. We posted a free hit draft on Instagram, but we can do it tonight on the stream as well. Varun says Sterling captain. Thanks to FPL Tips who welcome Varun. Finally, a captain paid off because that was some of my concern after the restart. We did not get the captains nailed on, and it was affecting the score actually. But nevertheless, we have a great captain as of now, and hopefully Rashford hauls big tonight. Jamie says, unfortunately, couldn't afford Antonio or Sterling. Haha. Well, it's nevertheless were not owned by a lot of managers, so it won't affect your rank at all. Not at all, but not majorly. Jell says Sterling captain. I think the regular starters who usually come to the stream, they've paid off. The Sterling captain really paid off. Mustafa says, do you think Richarlison would be good for the game against Villa? Talking about Everton, I would say do not go to their assets because they're desperately missing a midfield. Honestly, the last game against Wolves, I would not expect Wolves to score so many goals against a side like Burnley. And that is the case because their midfield was entirely empty. No creativity, no defensive midfielders performing there. And that is why Everton's game is affected so much. They've created the least number of chances from open play. I would not recommend Richarlison, especially after having so many options in the midfield. Are you free hitting this week? YOLO Gamer 3D, I'm not free hitting this game week. I'm going to free hit in game week 38. That said, because I have a decent team right now, I don't see my team doing great in game week 38 anyway, so I'm going to save it for them. Random Junkie says Vardy to Ings or Jesus. We'll talk about Jesus in detail. That's one of the major topics of the stream tonight. Don't worry, Random Junkie, we'll talk about it. She says three city players must have versus Burnout. Actually, the three city player notion is somewhat like this. You can have three city players, but you cannot rely on who's going to start. So it depends on which three city players you're going for. This week we need another great captain choice FPL tips to the rescue. Will we try something? I have some captain picks on my mind. We'll discuss them too. Antonio is a must-have for the rest of the season. No, I don't think he's a must-have. He hauled four against Watford. As I saw the match against Newcastle versus Watford, I think Watford performed decent defensively. Both of them are fighting for relegation, and I think it's going to be an open match. So maybe against Watford, and then in the last match against Aston Villa, he'll perform good. Against Manchester United, it's going to be tough for Antonio to score. Yusuf says, should I hold on to Rashford? I'm holding on to Rashford and I'll decide on the basis of how he performs tonight. Another thing, if you're holding on to Rashford, is that he'll be the one who'll be least rotated and will get most minutes in the next two matches. We know that after the Crystal match, they have only one day to prepare for the FA Cup, and there's going to be a lot of rotation. So Rashford might somewhat manage around 70 to 80 minutes in both the matches, which is Southampton and Crystal Palace. Should we avoid Digne? I think it's not something you avoid. You can probably downgrade him to Holgate. He did have a couple of chances and shots. One particular shot was just so close that he could even have scored. So it's not particularly avoid. If you own him, don't go out and sell him. Sterling fifth on the Golden Boot list now. Yeah, that was a drastic change in the Golden Boot list, and I think. As we're targeting, I have targeted a couple of players for the Golden Boot, and I think it's going to pay off with Inks as well in the next two games. If someone's looking for a different, not a differential, but a target attacker, go for Ings. He plays Brighton and Bournemouth in the next two, and I think Bournemouth is going to be without Ake for the entire season. So that's something you want to look out for, especially with Ings who had 18 shots in the box against Everton. I think Antonio will play well against Watford. It's going to be an open game. Even Watford is going to attack with the likes of Sar and Welbeck. Salah sell or keep looking at the fixtures. If you own Salah, keep him for the Arsenal fixture. And I desperately want to get Salah in my team. I think he'll score. He looked desperate to scoring goals. He was asking for passes, winning headers, taking shots. I think he was really unlucky. A bit of sloppy finishing and a brilliant performance by Pope. He's due a haul. If you own Salah, please hold on to him. Pep Roulette. We'll be posting the Pep Roulette tomorrow on Instagram. If you want, we can discuss it later on the stream, not right now. Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, Bruno Pulisic, and who else would you suggest in my free hit midfield? Uh, you could go for Antonio for 1 week, but maybe even Foden. If you're taking a free hit, you can go for Foden. I think he's the most nailed on to start at the moment for the next week. I might take out Pulisic. Take out Pulisic only after seeing his performance against Norwich. I think for Norwich, you got to own Pulisic, and if you don't own him, you might want to bring him in for 1 week. Anthony has the most goals since the restart. Has been in great form. He's been in great form. I think it was. I was watching him very closely. A week before, I thought I would take him, but then again, I dropped the idea. But when I brought him in, it completely paid off. Fares says, should I play wildcard to bring in Ings instead of Ayu, Foden instead of Traore? If these are only three moves, you might manage with a free transfer or something like that. But if you do have wildcard, then you can shuffle around with a lot with your team, and there are only 3 game weeks left, particularly two to target. So you might just want to play your wildcard. User says, do you recommend to buy Sterling or David for the rest of the season? To be honest, I would have to. There is rotation risk, but I think Sterling will start the next 3 games, especially now when he's on the golden boot list. Yeah, it says Bournemouth in the first half yesterday was awful. They came back in the second. I think the Bournemouth performance was a bit overrated. Yes, they performed well, and yes, the relegation battle is finally on. But the 4-1 scoreline might be a bit deceiving. The same performance, I don't think it will be coming out against City. City will be thrashing them at least 3 goals to nil, and you can expect City to go big against them. Tara Kumar says, what about Pulisic versus Willian and Willian versus Norwich? If you can own both of them, or if you're on wildcard free hit, then you might want to take the risk. I think Chelsea will be looking for a bounce back, especially after City's ban was uplifted. I think that's a factor that's going to motivate Leicester, United, and Chelsea, all three of them, because now they have only 2 spots for the UCL race. And I think they're going to put all of they have right now. I think the Chelsea assets, if they play well, I might hold on to Pulisic even for the Liverpool game. Pulisic captain if he starts. You can take that risk. He's a differential pick. You can start him against. You have to start him against Norwich, and you can even captain him. Should I take a minus for hit to get Pulisic this week? It depends on who you're taking out, but you might want to take a hit and bring in Pulisic if you're captaining him. Will Mane start this week? Yes, Liverpool will play an unchanged 11. By unchanged, I mean they'll play the strongest 11 with Trent, Robertson, Van Dijk, Gomez, Fabinho, maybe Keita, Wijnaldum, Mane, Salah, and Firmino. You think Sterling will start against Bournemouth? I think he'll start. Sterling or Foden captain? That's a tough one. If I had to captain someone, I would go differential and go out of the way and captain Foden. My midfield is Mane, Sterling, Pulisic, Bruno, Antonio. It's very good. We've discussed Ryan's midfield last stream as well. Stick to it, and I think all of those players have paid off right at the moment right now. Yusuf says Marshall or Rashford for the rest of the season. I would go Marshall. He looked really hungry when he was taking. And he's taking those shots. He's cutting in. He's passing the ball into the right position. He's making those runs. If I had to pick someone, and if there's some regret that I did not have a player, it's going to be Marshall for the end of the season. If you can, you have the choice. Go for Marshall. Thanks, Mototo Junior. Hope you subscribe to the channel at least. Tarakumar says, whom would you take out Ings for Ings? But Jimenez or Rashford? I would take out Jimenez. Solely because I don't expect him to go score on against Burnley. and also that he scored a penalty. I don't see him getting penalties all matches. Ings, otherwise Rashford is good. He'll get more minutes. I've discussed this. With Vardy, I think is going to be my case as well. I have Vardy, Ings, and Rashford. Will come to the transfers, and I'll have five playing midfielders. So I might have to bench someone of Vardy or Rashford next week. So that's going to be a case. If that's the case, then you might still want to get off Ings and bring in. Sorry, get off Jimenez and bring in Ings. Otherwise, you can play with the same attacking team. Here says I have three players I want to take a move out. Mane Mahrez and Jimenez. I can only afford to take two. Which two would you take out? I would take out Jimenez. I would take out Mahrez. Jimenez because I don't expect him to score a lot of goals. You have the likes of Kings who has two great fixtures to target, and then you can obviously play the free hit. So Ings and Mahrez because I don't think he'll start against Bournemouth. So that's waste of a spot, and then you can target someone else again in game week 37. Sell Vardy. If you own him, it's not particularly a sell. I think he might end up scoring against Sheffield as well, and especially against Tottenham. Vardy loves to score against big side teams, so you might not want to sell him, especially. But if you have a free transfer and no other places to change, then you might want to look Vardy to Jesus. Does Mane have to go this week? If you own him, you can take a chance. Particularly if you had Salah, I would recommend you to holding on to Salah. Pulisic or Willian, what's your preference? I've been putting this out each game week. I've seen Pulisic, but I think the stats favor Willian. I think the eye test favor Willian. And if I had someone, if I had to pick someone at this moment of time in a draft or a wild free hit or something, I would go Willian. I have Pulisic, but I would still prefer Willian. I'm thinking of taking out Aurier because he might not play because his brother died. My condolences to his family and Aurier himself. I have him in my team. I don't think I'm going to take him out. I'm going to let him play in my team. If he starts well and good, you might look at a clean sheet. If he doesn't, then Firmino comes in for me, and let's see how it goes. At this particular time, when you have so many other options and transfers to make, I don't think I'm going to waste a move on a defender. Start Doherty or Holgate next week. Start Doherty, mate. Uh, Giroud, Ings, Jesus. Which two for the free hit for Game Week 36? That's a tough one. I would say Ings and Giroud. Jesus has might start, might not. Will get less minutes for sure. So I would go Ings and Giroud, who will definitely get minutes. If you get the league lineups, go for Giroud. Otherwise, Jesus. That's for there. Bruno for captain till the end. That's a statement out there, motto. Mustafa says Dine, Van Bissaka, and Reece James back three. Free hitting. Anything you would like to change? With Van Bissaka, I'm convinced. Reese, I'm convinced. Digne, yeah, that's a good defensive team. There are not many options out there. For the people who are looking at free hit or defensive options, I would like to put out a. Okay, first of all, we just switch to the transfer tab, and then I'll discuss a very good transfer that I've been considering, and I would have liked to make if I had the option. For the people who are looking for defenders after the Liverpool game, I think Hector Bellerin is a very good option. He's 5.3, even Tierney, they're 5.3, and they've been coming into the box, putting a lot of crosses, taking a lot of shots. So after the match against Liverpool, we can target Aston Villa versus and Watford for Arsenal and bring in those players. I think if there is some defender who's going to haul in the next couple of weeks, it could be Tierney or Hector Bellerin. What about free hit this week? We've posted a team out there. Particularly, I'm not playing free hit this week. I think I have a decent team to feature in the next week, so I'm gonna say free hit for game week 38. Is Dino worth keeping? I think he's worth keeping. He might haul in the next game week. Hold on to him. It's not that bad a player to hold on to. Hamza says I'm taking out Saint Maximan, and I'm thinking between Pulisic and Antonio for game week 36, which is better. If you're looking particularly game week 36, I think Pulisic. But if you look at the entire season, I think Antonio has better fixtures in terms of Watford and Aston in the next three. So you would want to take out Saint Maximan and bring in Antonio for the rest of the season. I think I had a slight lag with the chat, but it's all right now. Jesus Ings Greenwood free hit front three. Anything you would like to change? Sorry for the spam. There's no need of saying sorry for the spam. And I think Jesus and Ings. I would play 3-5-2 on a free hit because I think the midfield options, especially with United as well, I would go Marshall over Greenwood any day. So if you have the option of getting Marshall and playing 3-5-2, go for it, Mustafa. Tarakumar says free hit this week or 38. I would prefer 38. The reason I say this, we get early news for Man City for sure. We know we have Liverpool who play Newcastle, and Salah captain would be very tempting that week. Then we can reduce our players, three United players to one or two maybe because they play Leicester. Same goes with the Chelsea and Wolves player. I think free hit 38 has more upward potential than free hit 36. Play free hit 36 only if you want to make 4 to 5 moves essentially to change your team for 36. Should I play bench boost gaming 36, 37 or 38? If you don't have free hit for 38, play bench boost in 38. Without saying, I think it goes without saying. Dion Chung says, which Burnley striker to choose between Rodriguez, Wood, and Vidal? Rodriguez stands out for me. I think he's having a decent game week. A lot of people ask me if they should go between Ings and Rodriguez. I would still prefer Ings because he's much more attacking. I think he'll win all penalties as well. Rodriguez is having a good run of fixtures and a good run of form, but I don't see him scoring a brace or a hat trick. At this moment of time and this stage of the game, I would look out for players who are possibly brace potentials and hat trick potentials. I took out Diop for Dawson this week. That must have been such a hard transfer to make. Yusuf says, I have Cam De Bruyne, Salah, Bruno, Pulisic, Mahrez, Ings, and Rashford. How could I bring in Sterling for Mahrez? I have 1.8 in the bank. I think Rashford to Greenwood gives you a lot of money, and then you can use the money wherever you want. So if you take a minus for it, I think you'll be able to afford anyone in Premier League. Thoughts on Sun? I think Sun's last game against Arsenal was a bit lucky. The goal he scored was obviously gifted by the Arsenal defense, and the corner set piece is very basic because he's on set piece. He's going to take a lot of corners and free kicks, and you never know, there might be an assist. If talking about his assets, I think the United and City assets are better. Particularly if I had to target him, I would target him for the last game week against Crystal Palace. Bellerin might be rotated with either Cedric or Maitland-Niles. Tierney to be a good pick. Tierney might not be rotated. I don't think even Bellerin will be rotated. I think he'll start game week in game week out. His performance has been exceptional, so I think he'll be there. Willian or Bruno captain for game week 36. If you want to play safe, go Bruno. If you want to take a chance on Chelsea's attack and Norwich's horrible defense, you might go Willian. Jancy says, I'm doing trash with this week with 19. That's a tough week for you, mate. I don't think, I think the average is 31 or 32, but it's still a bit low. So maybe if you have Bruno as your captain and he's still yet to play, so you might get a green arrow at the end. Bajaj says, my mid is De Bruyne, Bruno, Marshall, Antonio, and Traore. I think Traore seems like a person who needs to get out of the team. Otherwise, it's a strong midfield. Do you think Mane will start? Yes, Mane will start. I don't think there's any chance of Liverpool rotating because they want to score the 100 points. They've had their rest and they have ample of time. Do not forget that they do not play the FA Cup. So they'll play a strong team now and they have 7 or 8 days of rest until their next game. So they're definitely going to put a very strong team against Arsenal. And that's the reason I say Salah, captain, could be a great shout next week. And I think he'll haul at least a goal and an assist. Yes, is Ori available for the next match given his personal reasons? I really don't have any updates, and I would not even be shocked if he's not there for the next match. So I think we might get some late updates, but as of now, we do not know anything. Bench Foden or Greenwood for game week 36 plus. I think Greenwood, if he starts tonight and if he plays over 65 minutes, I think he'll be benched or play very less minutes against Crystal Palace in game week 36 plus. So if you own him and Foden, where Foden is definitely starting the next match, play Foden. Random Junkie says start Holgate or Doherty. Doherty, I think Holgate does have a chance of a clean sheet, but less than Doherty, I guess. Mustafa says, do you think Sterling for KDB is a good option? Worried about missing out on KDB. If you're chasing rank, then you might want to take the switch because KDB is owned by everyone. So if you want to increase in rank, hope for KDB blanking and then Sterling hauling. But otherwise, you'll have to hold on to Kevin De Bruyne because his ownership is way too high. And the reason I talk about ownership is last game week we ended up with 81 points and still earned a red arrow. That's how ownership affects you. So take in consideration that if you want to chase the rank and or want to hold on to it, don't lose out on the players who have very high ownership. I'm not sure if he's or if Aurier is playing Yusuf. I'm really not sure. There's no news about it, or no news from Tottenham. Tomorrow they have a press conference, so tomorrow maybe Jose will update us about it. But as of now, nothing. Mahrez to Foden or David Silva. I think Foden will play on the left if he starts, and David has been decent in the recent fixtures. If you're looking at goals or assists, I would fancy Foden to score more goals. If you're looking at a long-term move, I think David Silva will start gaming 36 and 38. So if you're without free hit and looking for a long-term move, go with David Silva. But personally, if you want to look only for the next two fixtures, go with Foden. No problem, Mustafa. And okay, so we'll now talk about my transfers. Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to make it clear that my transfers and my team is only targeted for game week 36 and 37. I hope for the people who have been following us and working on the plan, and whoever is playing free hit in game week 38 plus, make your team and choose your players only for the next two game weeks, because it doesn't matter who you own, whatever the fixtures are in game week 38, you're going to be playing free hit. So that taken into consideration, I was really tempted to move to Salah this week for Arsenal, but then realized that Chelsea would not give up so easily against Liverpool, especially after the UCL ban lifted for Manchester City and their spot for the top four getting slightly damaged by their loss to Sheffield United. So I've revamped my transfers. I think this week it's going to be Mahrez out for me. The player I'm targeting at the moment is not Liverpool player. I think I'm going to target Phil Foden from Manchester City. Might as well captain him. You never know. But the transfer I'm targeting this week is Phil Foden from Riyad Mahrez. I think Riyad Mahrez will get benched. Phil Foden, do start at home. He usually does. And I think he'll start. The other transfer I desperately want to make, but the only thing that's stopping me is that will he start or not, is Vardy out and Jesus in. I think if I had to pick someone and captain him till the end of the season, it would be Gabriel Jesus. We've been complaining a lot that he does not finish. He's a poor finisher. He does not convert those chances. But the number of chances he's getting is so big that he ends up scoring some goals, providing an assist or something like that, scoring a poor tap in, maybe, but he's giving a lot of points, and that's what really matters to us. So I think if I had the audacity, if I knew if he'll start for sure, I would bring in Jesus for Vardy. Otherwise, I think the Phil Foden move seems very logical to me. Pickford or Pope, I would still play Pope. I don't see a reason why you should change Pope. Just play him. He's consistently getting points. There's no reason to change him. Get in Pope and stick to it. Varun says, get in Foden. I think I'm going to get in Foden. Might as well captain him for the rank, depending on Rashford, how Rashford plays. If Rashford plays really poor and he doesn't perform, then we'll have to look at Rashford to Greenwood and then Mahrez to Sterling. That's one move that we can look at the moment. For me, I really wanted Salah in my team. We had already planned that we'll go Rashford to Greenwood and Mahrez to Salah, as discussed in all other streams. But the fact that now Chelsea will be looking at a comeback, and Liverpool has, I think they've been good. But if you look at the upside, will Salah outscore Jesus plus Foden or Jesus plus Marshall? I don't think so. And I think holding on to Rashford, Jesus, and maybe Foden, and they combined will outscore Salah and Greenwood. And that's the reason I think I'm not going to bring in Salah. If you own Salah, hold on to him, especially for the Arsenal fixture. I mean, I'm worried if he'll go on and score a hat trick, but I think he'll definitely score. Yes, Balaj, who would I replace Traore with, please? Go for Foden this week. I think it's a bang on replacement, but perfectly fits in the price. Definitely going to start. Might as well take a chance. Ings, Vardy, or Jesus. If I had to pick for the next two games, Ings and Jesus looks the best option to me. The only concern with Jesus is his minutes. If you're willing to take the chance, he might play. He definitely get some minutes. He'll get 30, 60 odd minutes. He'll either get 30 or 60. If you want to take his chance, I think he'll score enough points in those minutes. you might as well go for Jesus and Ings. Guna says, "What in formation are you planning to play? Your team looks similar to mine, and having benching headache. Haha." That's the reason. I think I'm going to hold on to the Jesus move. I'm going to bench Vardy this week. Sheffield United, especially with O'Connell back, look a side again that's not going to leak goals. So I think this week is going to be. I think Jesus is not going to come into my team, especially with his bench, with his rotation headache. I'm going to play a 3-5-2 with De Bruyne, Foden, Antonio, Pulisic, Fernandez, Vardy substituted out, Rashford endings. This is all on the basis of that if Rashford performs. If he doesn't perform, Rashford out and Vardy plays in. I think it's a simple move from Mahrez to Foden. Next week we have the chances of bringing in Jesus for Vardy, and then we could either switch Foden back to Mahrez or take a -8 hit depending on how the game week goes. The problem with Jesus is that he isn't Aguero, but performing decent in the last couple of game weeks. Honestly, if he starts against Bournemouth, I can see him scoring at least a brace, and that's something I don't want to miss out to. I don't want to miss out on too. So that's something is bothering me, and I don't know if I should make that move or not. Sydney says waiting for today's game in order to sell him in his buyings. What's your opinion? I think even if Ings does not perform today, go get him buy him. He'll definitely perform against Brighton and especially against Bournemouth. So I think it's a no-brainer according to me. Shreyas, hi. He was partying after the City voting. I personally I don't want to make any comments, but I think the money has paid off. Uh, Jesus is a mega haul incoming. I think I said it. If he starts against Bournemouth, I would even fancy captaining him if I knew who's gonna start, and I think he'll score a brace at the very least. Reda says I have triple captain and bench boost cards left. Which one should I use? And when I have Sterling, Salah, Willian, Mahrez, Kane. Bench boost, go for it in game week 38. Triple captain maybe 36 or 37 depending on your team. You can take a chance on Salah triple captain against Arsenal. Is it uh, is it worth removing Mahrez to De Bruyne? Both of them have the rotation race this game week. If you own someone, then hold on to him. Do not make a sideways move from Mahrez to De Bruyne. Adams, if can't afford Ings. Okay, that's a good. If you can't afford Ings, then maybe Greenwood and J. Rodriguez seem like good options. J. Rodriguez this week they face Wolves, but the next week they face Norwich, and you can always fancy them. Any team actually scoring against Norwich. So if not Ings, you can try and getting Greenwood or J. Rodriguez. Sydney says I'm on 50 points, had Sterling but didn't captain him. Actually, I had Antonio too, but I did not captain him. But it's okay if you own one of those players who's scoring 20 plus points. I'll I'll be happy enough to just own them. Sohan says best free hit team. Okay, if you guys want, we can do the free hit team. Sohan, we've actually posted a free hit team on our Instagram page, so you might want to check it out at FPL tips underscore underscore. Okay, so if I we're discussing the transfers, if I make the Foden move, I have to play Van Bissaka or here Saiz. Consider that Aurier starts. De Bruyne with the rotation risk, I will still play him. Foden, Antonio, Pulisic, Fernandez, Rashford, Ings, and one of actually Rashford and Vardy. Free team on FPL tips and stuff. Please check that. Yes, you can go out and check it there. Reda says, should I go for a -8 hit? I don't think it's necessary unless you have a lot of moves to make. You can take the chance, but at this moment of the game, you don't want to take a -8 hit. Your rank will drastically drop. If you're playing it for fun, then you can definitely take -8 hit. Sunkeep or sell. I think if you're taking him out for someone like Pulisic for 1 week or maybe Bruno, Martial, then it's a definite sell. If you already have such players and you have a decent team, then you might want to hold on to him for Newcastle and Leicester. Whom can I replace with Soyuncu? Okay, that's it. I thought that's going to be a question that pops up a lot of times on the chat, but it's been relatively low. I think you can go for likes of O'Connell, decent defensive side at the moment. Bulldog seems nailed on. Personally, I would recommend going for the likes of Hector Bellerin after the Liverpool game. That's one point. Charlie Taylor is a good defensive asset at the moment. And apart from that, you might want to go for a City defender, but I don't see them nailed on. So Laporte, if you can afford him. Otherwise, Charlie Taylor is a good option. Dunk, on the other hand, is also a good option. If you want to look at Bertrand from Southampton, decent fixtures, maybe an assist, possible clean sheet. So those are three options that you might want to target: Charlie Taylor, Dunk, and Bertrand. Otherwise, you have the upper ceiling options like Laporte, Baldock, O'Connell, Hector Bellerin, and all of those. I don't know what transfer to make with all the City rotation. Okay, for the people who stuck, we had 21 watching. I remember this a bit less right now. I'll discuss a pep roulette that I think is going to happen. We have Ederson in goal. I think Cancelo will start. I think Eric Garcia should start. Maybe Stones for Laporte will start. Zinchenko for Mendy. I think Bernardo Silva, Fernandino, Gundogan, Foden, maybe Jesus. I'm not sure. If not Jesus, I think Bernardo Silva plays up. Sterling on the right or left wing, and then Kevin De Bruyne. So it's either Kevin De Bruyne or Jesus will start, according to me, and the rest team is going to be Edison Cancelo, Stones, Laporte, Zinchenko, Fernandino, Gundogan, Foden, Sterling, Bernardo Silva, and either one of Jesus or Kevin De Bruyne. So for the people who stuck to it, this is what I think the Pep roulette is going to look like. I think there are sufficient changes that Pep will make. Mahrez is a definite rest. I think Jesus is most prone to rest because City like to press a lot with their attacking assets. So they need Jesus to press against Arsenal, and they'll need Jesus to be rested completely. On the other hand, I think Kevin De Bruyne will start only because they want Kevin to find that form. He's been unlucky, and if he starts scoring a couple of goals, it will be perfect against Arsenal. So 60-minute appearance against Bournemouth is perfect for him. David Silva, I think, will miss out because I think he'll start against Arsenal. They like to play David Silva in big matches, so I think David Silva will start. Otherwise, you might look at David Silva and Bernardo with no Kevin De Bruyne and Jesus as well. Varun has double wolves defense and Dean play the double wolf defense. I think it paid off this week. You might want to take a chance next one as well. You might want to bring in Ings for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think. So Han says Chelsea defender is worth it for this game week. Yes, I think Reese or Aspilicueta both are worth it. Do you think James will start against Norwich? Yes, I think James will start. Hopefully start, but if he doesn't, you'll get the league lineup. So you might want to join us on the deadline stream before the game week 36 deadline, and we'll discuss the league lineups there as well. Kshitij says thoughts on Sun. I think the Hall was lucky. I don't see him scoring a lot more goals against sides against Newcastle and Leicester. Maybe a couple against them, not more. The goal and assist both were pretty lucky, I feel. Chelsea defenders, FPL assets gave me 36. I think Aspilicueta is a better asset. He's nailed on, puts in more crosses. If James start, you can go for him as well. She says no David Silva. I think they might want to give Kevin De Bruyne another chance. If they think that Kevin De Bruyne is in form and he's playing good enough, then you might see David Silva. Otherwise, I think Kevin De Bruyne might start. Jesus, on the other hand, I think will miss out from the team. Bernardo played 90 against Brighton. Seems like he doesn't favor him. I think but he favors Bernardo, but not in the big matches. In the big matches, I think Pep likes to play two strong fullbacks, which is Walker and Mendy, two strong defensive players, full centre backs, I think, which is Laporte and Garcia. Edison is nailed on. Two defensive midfielders, which is either Gundogan, Rodri, or maybe Rodri and then Kevin De Bruyne in the defensive field, and then David Silva up, Sterling, Mahrez, and Jesus. Jesus Aguero, depending on who's fit. So that's particularly how Pep likes to line up his team, and that's exactly how he's going to put it against Arsenal. Rodri is going to start. Kevin De Bruyne definitely, Mahrez, Jesus, Sterling, nailed on players who are going to start against Arsenal. So I think the rotation is going to be around such players. With David Silva, it depends on if he's in plans for the Arsenal game, he'll not start this one. If he's not, then he'll start this one. Boy says captain picks for game week 36 between Sterling, Fernandes, Mane, Foden, Ings. I would go Fernandes for a safe captain. If you have the guts and want to go differential, go Foden. Varun says Mahrez to cheap midfielder and Dominic Calvert-Lewin to Jesus. I would do that next week. As I said, I think Jesus will be rested. He's had a lot of minutes. There is a chance that he'll be rested. I'm not saying he'll definitely be rested. Even if he's rested, he'll come on for 30 minutes as an appearance. If you want to take the risk, you can. It's a long term risk, yes, definitely worth it. If not, uh, then go for rings. For a cheap midfielder, I think this move from Mahrez to Saka is much more reliable. I think Saka will start the next match. He's a good player, very attacking, sometimes good in the box as well. So Saka is the midfielder to go. The deadline is tomorrow. I think it's 11:30 p.m. IST. We start the deadline at 10:45 as usual. Your rank and points. My points are I think 2100, somewhat around that. We jumped around 150 in rank, so that's good. One less than 150, I think, because of the Antonio halt. You're going to have two City players. Yes, I'm going to have two City players. De Bruyne being one of them. I'm not removing him at least for the next one. And Foden, I think I'll bring him in because I definitely want to own one City player against Bournemouth. Can't miss on that fixture. Kevin De Bruyne or Sterling? I think Sterling has a higher chance of starting. Should I keep the triple captain for Sterling against Norwich? If you're not going to play free hit, then keep it for that game week. If you're going to play free hit in that game week, I think you want to play a triple captain in game week 36. Do you think Jesus might be benched against Arsenal instead? I don't think so. Pep likes to press high against any team in a big match. For the high pressing game to work, you need a good striker who presses a lot. Jesus does that perfectly. Aguero does that. I think will have to start someone like them. If I go for three city midfielders, can I either have Antonio Pulisic or Fernandez? I think if you're going for three city players in the next one, go for a defender, maybe like Edison, and you will have a definite clean sheet and definite 6 points. No headache of a rotation, even if your player starts or not. You have 6 points. Look at it at that point as well. Antonio Pulisic Fernandez also will definitely start and get 2 points. So you have 6 points nailed on, and then you have three players to two more city attackers to function out the points. Reda says, and give me 36. Should I captain Salah, Sterling, Kane, Billion, Martial? I think Martial is a good shot. If Martial does not score tonight, I would fancy captaining Martial next week. Salah is a good shout. I would not captain Kane, Sterling, maybe Billion, but I'm not that sure. SV says, have all the three chips left. What are your suggestions? When to use triple captain? If suppose I'm using free hit for game week 38 plus, then triple captain next week. In fact, if you have all three chips left, look how your team is forming up on game week 37. If you have the triple captain chip, play free hit in 36, bench boost in 38, and triple captain in 37. I would recommend that strategy much more suitable if your team is looking good for 37. So Hans says I have triple captain free hit chips left. Free hit in 38, triple captain 36. Shittit says Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Pulisic, Son. Any changes? Pretty sorted lineup. I think De Bruyne to someone else like David Silva Foden for 1 week looks like a punt. Even Son to Foden looks like a 1 week punt to me. Varun says which one to bench midfield? Sterling, Foden, Pulisic, Bruno, Antonio. I would bench Greenwood if he plays over 65 minutes tonight. I think he duly needs a rest. It might not be a surprise if he's benched tonight as well. Guna says, but which defenders from City? I think Ederson is nailed on. Just go with Ederson if you want to go for a defender from City. I duly need a water break. I'll be back in a second, guys. I think go with Ederson. Ghana. Is Antonio somewhat a good choice for this game week? With the form he is in and the relegation battle and Watford, I think you've got to own him. Not necessarily on a free hit draft. You can ditch him, We posted a free hit draft. We did not own him. That's because I'm not sure if he'll haul a hat trick or a brace as well. Maybe a goal and assist, and that's enough if you own him already. For the people who are buying him right now, I think they'll be disappointed because I don't see him scoring a hat trick against Watford, honestly. I own him. I've brought him in early. He's paid off. The move has already paid off for me. 26 points in a game week. Even if he scores a goal or assist, I'm happy. So that's the aim of Antonio. I think don't be surprised if he doesn't score a hat trick or a brace. Triple captain to whom? I think the options are differential Pulisic, differential Foden. Jesus is a good shout. Sterling, if he starts, Bruno Fernandes is a definite shout. If Marshall does not score tonight, Marshall is also a good option. I think Antonio is just for one match wonder. Not a one match wonder. He's been performing good in recent game weeks, taking a lot of shots, and that's what made us brought him in our team. Lot of shots, lot of crosses, passes in the box a lot, good movement. But I don't think he'll score four against a determined Watford side who's desperate for wins and points. Danny Welbeck is showing great form. Yes, he's showing great form. We talked about Dini and discussed that he only scored through penalties, and that's exactly what happened. A lot of people asked me if they should get Dini. I said, if you want to get him, go get him, but don't expect him to score apart from penalties. That's exactly what ended up in the match, and I don't see him scoring apart from penalties yet again. Only thing worrying me is how many City assets are important against Bournemouth. I think it's not about how many, it's about the players who will get you points definitely. I think Foden, Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne in that particular order, and then Jesus are the players that you want to own. And I think these are the players which will get you the maximum points. It doesn't matter if you own three or four or even five City players if they're not getting you points. Two is a basic as is a must. I think De Bruyne plus Foden for me this game we stand out. Sterling plus Foden would be great as well. A Southampton upset is on the cards against Manchester United today. I think if there has to be an upset, I hope it's 0-0. It because it plays out in my favor. Front three, Ings, Rashford, Jimenez are they good to till the end of the season. Jimenez, I think it's not the best options out there. You might want to look for the likes of Jesus there. WordPress to consider. If you want to consider WordPress, consider him against Bournemouth, not against South Brighton. I think he is into my consideration list. Even Stuart Armstrong is for game week 37 specifically. But let's see how it pans out. Guna says, "Yeah, I'm thinking of getting him, but if go for three city midfielders, I want Pulisic and Fernandez. So you might want to ditch Antonio. There's no harm in it. I think the best strategy with the City game is go to midfielders who are definitely going to start City defender in form of Edison and then get Antonio Pulisic and Fernandez in your midfield. Maybe Marshall if you want to take a chance. Salah, Bruno, Son, Pulisic, Kevin De Bruyne, Rashford, IU, Gale. Point four in the bank, one free transfers would you suggest for the next two game weeks? If you have Gale, IU, I would suggest getting at least the likes of Rodriguez for the next couple of game weeks. Or maybe Sun downgrade to someone like Saka, upgrade IU or Gale to maybe Ings or Jesus. Ghana says, is Kevin De Bruyne a good choice? Looking at the chances that he'll be benched, not particularly. You might want to look at other places. Maybe Sterling over Kevin De Bruyne for this game week. How do you think David Silva for the next game? I think he might start. There's no doubt with it. Whereas you look at the prospect of him scoring goals or assists, there are chances not as much as Sterling or Foden. I think if Foden or Sterling start at the wings, I would fancy them over David Silva. I brought in Martinez for 4.2, but their fixtures are not looking good. I think Martinez is a decent fixture. The only tough fixture is against Liverpool, and the next two are Aston Villa and Watford. You might want to hold on to him. Also, that the fact that he's 4.2 million and you do not expect him to keep a clean sheet every game. Honestly, if he's giving you two clean sheets in three matches, he's a very good pick at 4.2. What do you guys think? Should I get Salah for one game week or should I get Jesus plus Foden or just go with Foden? Also, I'm not keen of getting a hit at the moment. If we have to take a hit, we might just take -8 if the game week does not go good. So let's see how it pans out. What do you guys think? Should we take a -8 or 4 hit this game week or just stick to the one free transfer? Roland says, I want a third City player, have Sterling, Mahrez, and Foden. I guess Mahrez gets benched. Yes, you can go for Mahrez to David Silva in that case. I recommend Salah. I want Salah to. I am. It's a particular bias that I have right now that I desperately want to get in Salah. It's gonna put my team into a -12 to 16 hit position, but I want Salah. I want to cap Salah against Arsenal. It's a risk I'm willing to take actually. Get Jesus, I think. Yes, Bazaar says Zidita Morin. I'm not sure what we tag him for. One free transfer is enough, says Sydney. Salah always wrecks Arsenal. Yes, his record against Arsenal is exceptionally good. And honestly, if you have Salah, trust me on it, you can blindly captain Salah, I think, against Arsenal. You might want to come and beat me up if he does not score, but I think he will end up scoring. He'll give a lot of points. It's going to hurt me when I don't own Salah for the next game week. Will Giroud start against Norwich? I think he'll start. Tammy was awful against Sheffield United. He totally ruined the match, honestly, for me. And Giroud should start. But nevertheless, we'll have the lineups mostly, so we know what to do about it. But according to me, 99.9% Giroud will start. Also, a good news might be up for you guys. I know it's a bit late in the season and it is due to the fixture congestion, but we might have Big Man Bucker on the stream sometime. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next game week, but we'll have him for sure. I'm trying to get him for the game week 38 stream, and if that happens, that's going to be great. Might as well get it for game week 37. Yes, we're excited for Ziyech and Werner to Red Eye. I too am a Chelsea fan, but I think without a centre back, we're not winning league. We're not winning any championship. It's going to be very hard for us. We desperately need a centre back. I think Havertz can go to hell. We need a centre back. You should sign Ruben Diaz. I think we should definitely go for him. Not just Kepa. Kepa is performing decent. I think we're going for Onana. But apart from that, a centre back is definitely needed. Varun, yes, he posted a review this, I think, a couple of minutes ago before my stream. Maybe 10 p.m. was the time, Indian Standard Time, I think. But it's a definite shout for the people who do not know who Big Man Bucker is. Go follow him on Twitter, read his game week review. It's I would recommend it a must if you're playing FPL. You should definitely read his reviews. I am not sure if he'll go for Henderson or Pope. Yes, there's the exact line Varun Big Man said. Big Man Bucker. I think someone can tag him in the chat for the people who do not know Sydney. His handle is at the rate Big Man Bucker Bakar. Go check him out on Twitter. He's a legit FPL legend, and you got to follow him. Red, I too am a Chelsea fan. Lucas Digne in if you own him, good. If you don't, I don't think he's the necessary move at 5.6 million. You can look at the likes of Aspilicueta for the game week. Otherwise, might go for Holgate or someone like Keane, who's cheaper in price. It's not a necessary move, Philip. Gunnar says he's benching Greenwood against Crystal Palace. Okay, I think it's okay if he plays over 65 to 70 minutes this game week. Shrit says Rashford to Greenwood to free up funds. I think it's worth the hit because I think IU would not do a lot anyways in the upcoming game week. So you might want to take a hit and chase the ranks points of ins. Reda says I feel bad when I want Marshall to score today, but I also want them to lose. I think then you can wish Marshall and Rashford to score, but then you can also wish for a Ings hat trick. That would be perfect for my team as well. As I'm free hitting says Guna, I'm going to play five midfields. Go for it. I think that's the best strategy of 3-5-2 on a free hit looks good. At least on paper it looks good with the midfield options. Philip says Pulisic cap. If you want to go really differential, if you're chasing rank, you might want to take the chance. Not particularly will be recommending it, especially looking at his recent form. I feel like Pulisic has the potential to score big, but at the moment he's just running fast into defenders. That's what he's doing. Not past defenders, but just straight into defenders. And I'm not sure if he's a very good captain choice. I highly recommend you to go for Salah. Reda, I really want to go for Salah, but for Salah, I'll show you what I'll have to do with Salah and then get my team back to its original. I'll have to remove Mahrez, remove Rashford, take a minus for hit this game week. Then I'll have to bring in the likes of Greenwood. I cannot play him against Crystal because I know he's gonna get mostly gonna get benched. So I have to play 3-5-2 with Vardy in my team, which again against the Sheffield United defense is gonna be tough. Then again next week I have to remove Vardy for Jesus, maybe Sterling out. I'm not sure if he'll score a lot of goals against Chelsea. Then I'll have to take a -4 hit again to remove either of Pulisic or Antonio because I don't want to play them in game week 37. So it's essentially -8 for the same moves. I can take -4 and stick to Foden too. But let's see, because I especially want a City attacker against Bournemouth. That's something I'm looking at. Will the City attacker against Bournemouth score more than Salah? I'm looking closely at it. If he plays well this game week, so might as well hold on to him for the Crystal match. Antonio Pulisic, Fernandes, Sterling, Foden, other five midfields, and Ings and Giroud forward. Trent Van Bissaka and Aspilicueta in defense. Don't I'm not sure if Trent will get the clean sheet, but he can definitely get that cross to an assist or a goal. Before coming onto the stream, I was really very sorted that I'll not get in Salah, but yet again on the stream, I am again in confusion. Should I get Salah or should I get Foden? We'll actually think about it. Wait. If I remove Mahrez, remove Rashford, get in Salah, I think the auto pick will get in Greenwood. Yes, it does. So if point four in the bank, I think I'm going to make the Vardy to Jesus move for sure next week. I miss out on one City's match against Bournemouth. That's a drawback when I get Salah for sure. But I can captain Salah too, so that's a plus point. And then I'll have to remove Pulisic or Antonio. So that's a -8 hit. But I miss out on points from the Bournemouth game and also from the Chelsea game. I think I'm not gonna get Salah. It's not a necessary move actually. I know he's gonna haul big. He might get 21 or 18 points, but I still want to take the risk and not get him. Greenwood is kind of expensive now. He's around 4.9. I think he'll get up to 5.1 till the end of the next game week. I think it's not about safe better than sorry. At this, honestly, if we end up, we can also take a knee jerking move, take a -4 hit right now. -8 hit maybe. Take out Antonio against Watford. Take the chance and play Foden. Or the other way around, we can play Foden. We can remove De Bruyne, keep in Vardy, bring in Salah. I think we'll have the money and bring in Foden. This works for me as well. Or maybe we can bring in Sterling as well. Maybe just this Greenwood at all. Get in Connolly, get in Jesus and Marshall for Pulisic next week. Anyways, we're not going to play Greenwood. We might just knee jerk these moves and get in Sterling plus Salah and then Marshall the next week. Pulisic might do something against Liverpool as it is a must-win game for Chelsea. Yes, that's the reason I might even hold on to him. To do a Dominic Calvert-Lewin into Ings, but then that gives me a power 8. Green, Rash, Ings, Pulisic, Sterling, Foden, Mahrez, Bruno. I think in bench Mahrez. I'm not sure if he'll start the next one. Aditya says, hello, I want to ask you something you can definitely ask me. Varun says, I prefer Foden over Salah this week. We can get in, I think, wait. Okay, I have a plan of getting both Salah and Foden. We might just get Salah for Kevin De Bruyne. And as we know, he'll get rested. Get in Foden for Mahrez and might as well give Salah the captainship. So we have 1.6 in the bank. This is how my team is gonna look. I'm gonna bench Vardy. Next game week we can go back to Salah and Jesus, but then we'll be left with Foden and Pulisic, and that does weaken my team. So I don't think that's a viable option. If I'm willing to take -8, it looks good, but as overall -12, I'm not sure if I'll do this. But it looks appealing to me, especially the Salah plus Foden combination. I have both Sterling and Salah. I don't have faith in Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's lost that bit of luck. He hit the post. Should have had an assist in the last two game weeks. I don't know when he'll score. I'm hoping he starts this game week and has a big haul against Bournemouth. Aditya Bhattacharya says Jimenez next week may be tricky, but he plays Crystal and Chelsea, who are not that good. I'm thinking of keeping Jimenez. Sorry, it's your call. Honestly, there are plenty of options in attack better than him. So if you can make the sideways move to someone like Ings or Vardy or Jesus, maybe even Rashford or Greenwood, would recommend that. But it's totally your call. One city asset is kind of risky though. Yes, that's risky. I think I'm gonna. I mean, I desperately want to get Salah. I've been saying this all along the stream, but I think I have to ditch him. Should I keep Kevin De Bruyne or should I replace him with Silva or Foden? I think for this game week you might want to get in Foden or Silva. Kevin De Bruyne, I'm not sure if he'll start. If he starts, he's going to be bang on for sure. But there's slight chances of him not starting. But I am confident, not even gut. I am clean slate confident that Salah will be bang on against Arsenal. But that's costing my team a lot. Then maybe I'll have to drop the Foden move, the Jesus move, I think. Then I have to play Vardy against the likes of Tottenham, I think. Aitha says I'm thinking of Foden or mostly Silva. Those are the best options. I think David Silva and Foden. Go with either of them. Shouldn't be a problem. I'm so invested in your live streams. I'll make sure to attend the rest of the live streams. I I'm glad to hear that, Reda. I hope you're having fun. Salah will score a hat trick. I'm pretty sure he will. Yes, it's definitely for fun. If Rashford blanks tonight, and I'm saying this on the live stream, if Rashford blanks tonight, we'll come on live tomorrow, and I'll make sure I remove Rashford from my team. Gunnar says Antonio Pulisic, Fernandes, Sterling Foden are the five midfields with things in zero, and I know the defense. What would you suggest? I think this is a good team. We've discussed this, and you can go ahead with this. There's slight risk, obviously, with the City assets, but you might want to take it on free hit and just go ahead with it. Bruno Blank needed, haha. I also need a Bruno Blank, honestly. Mane to Salah and Mahrez to Foden as my moves. I would, if you're solely making it on my gut feeling for Salah or my bias on Salah, you might want to hold on to the Mane move. But Mahrez to Foden looks like a definite and no-brainer to me. Varun says, please follow FPL tips on Instagram. Great content. Yes, Reda, if you've not followed us on Instagram at FPL tips underscore, make sure you follow us there as well. When will the next season start? The next season started around 23rd September, as of now, what I know. And FPL should be back by August end. Should I keep Digne? If you own him, keep him. I think there is a clean sheet potential in the next couple of games. Guna says you are really really helpful. Definitely will be following you for from early season next from early next season. Thank you so much. Welcome, Guna. Hope you like the content. Dash says, should I take a -8 hit to get rid of Laporte? No, mate, don't take a -8 for getting rid of Laporte. Play him. You might have a decent defender on the bench as well. Taking that into consideration, play him and don't take a minus hit for a defender, at least for a defender. It's not going to result into great points unless the defender scores a brace or a hat trick. I'll be putting the big man's Twitter account on the chat. Wait a second. I've put it in the chat for the guys who want to follow Big Man Bucker. Check him out. Check out his game week preview and review. I think you guys will love it. Willian or Sterling for game week 36? I think Willian is a no-brainer. Sterling, yes, on form, got a lucky goal. Have to mention it. The header was way too lucky, and I don't think that's going to happen with any other attacker anytime soon. So Sterling got lucky with the hat trick. Willian a no-brainer against Norwich, a weak defensive side. Chelsea desperate to get a win against to get the UCL contention, and I think Willian is a no-brainer for Sterling in comparison to Sterling this week. I need a break again. We'll be getting lineups in 10 minutes. I think the same lineup will start. I think Greenwood is the only thing I'm expecting, but might not happen this week, might happen next week as well. Welcome, Reda. Aditya says his threads are really good. Yes. Should I remove Dean? No, don't remove him. Hold on to him. Keep Jimenez or Dominic Calvert for the next 2 weeks. Keep Jimenez if you have to, if any of them. Dominic Calvert-Lewin does not look good. He's taking a couple of headers here and there, but Everton are not producing plays from and attacks from open plays. Open game fields, it's only majorly set pieces, and you don't get a lot in a match usually. So without the open plays, I don't think it's Everton will score a lot of goals, and definitely that rules out Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Abhishek says, "Will Sterling start all the games? He'll start. He'll start. I'm not sure if all the games. I think he'll start two for sure, and in the third game he'll get a lot of minutes. So you have to actually bank on minutes per goal or a factor like that. If a player is playing 30 minutes, does he have the potential to score or assist in those particular 30 minutes? If the answer is yes, go for him. I'm thinking of removing Digne to Burnley defender. That could be a nice move for Charlie Taylor. I think the Burnley defender you might want to target is Charlie Taylor. Bharat Chandwani says, should I stick to triple captain? Triple Sheffield defense. Okay, that must have paid off against Chelsea. I'm not sure if it will pay off against Leicester. Vardy does like breaking down such defenses. For the rest of the season, I'm not sure what fixtures they have. I know they face Leicester in the next week. Everton, Southampton. You might want to hold on to two of them actually, not three. But if you want to hold on to them, hold on to two defenders from Sheffield, not three. Greenwood might be benched against Chelsea. I'm 99% sure that Igalo plays for Tony Marsh. I don't think that's going to happen against Chelsea. They're going to play their full standard attacking 11 against Chelsea. The benching and rotation will happen against Crystal Palace. And I'm not sure if that's going to be a lot of benching or rotation. Slight rotation, I think. Aditya Bhattacharya says Silva will start for two for sure. Yes, I think David Silva will definitely start for the game week 38 match. It's his last Premier League match. for City, so I think he'll start that one for sure. I'm not sure if he'll start giving 37 or 36. Abhishek says, I have one free transfer. Looking for Willian, Sterling, Pulisic, Antonio. What's the best choice? That's a tough one. If you have one transfer for this game, we get either Willian or Pulisic. Antonio is a no for this week, and Sterling is a 50-50 hit. Should I remove Marshall? Will he get benched? I think I'm not sure if he'll get benched. The bench op mostly if there's benching, he'll be benched in the he'll be rotated. I think like last game week he'll be rotated around the 60-minute mark. Benching, I'm not sure because even United have to play for the UCL spot. Every match for them is also a do or die situation matches, and I think they have to put a strong 11 to win matches. So I don't think Bruno will miss out on any game. Pogba won't be missing out. Rashford won't be missing out. Marshall will play maximum possible minutes. Greenwood is young, he's talented, he's doing well, but will also be rotated. So the high two targets which are high on rotation will be Marshall and Greenwood. I don't have a I somehow I don't have league lineups till now. It's a bit shocking. Can someone post the lineups when they're out on the chat? Is Sterling gonna start? I think he'll start. He's one of the fittest players as we've discussed early on, and I think he'll start. Aitha says they will be rotated, but I don't think they'll be benched exactly. Yazid says Kevin De Bruyne is going for an assist record. Does the factor affect Pep? I don't think it affects Pep. It affected Klopp, and if you've seen the Burnley versus Liverpool match, I think if Liverpool were not passing every ball into Salah's feet, they would have scored easily 3 or 4 goals. But the factor that they had to pass to Salah, they want Salah to get the golden boot, and all of that did play something on their mind, and that performance did deteriorate. Another factor that is avoiding me from getting Salah is the no Henderson factor. I think Henderson is a very essential player for Liverpool. Their attacks dissipates when he's not there, and I think that's another reason that I should not get Salah this week. With Pep, I don't think Pep really gives a shit about anyone's record. I think it's all about his team and all the trophies. Aditya says, I think Kevin De Bruyne will haul this week. If he starts, for sure. If he doesn't, maybe an assist at max. Might get a penalty as well because Bournemouth are so horrible defensively. I would actually fancy Kevin De Bruyne getting 30 odd minutes against them. Uh, See, it's actually depending on City's lineup. If City plays two central defensive midfielders, can De Bruyne will play in an attacking midfielder role. If they play David Silva, Bernardo Silva alongside him, or maybe even Foden, he'll play in the defensive role. And that's we stated long while ago. So it depends on how they line up. Ake is gone for sure. Best defender under 5 million. I think you want to target the defenders of Southampton, Brighton, and Burnley. So Charlie Taylor, Lewis Dunk, and Bertrand stand out for me. Even Stephens is a good option. Stephens from Southampton is a good option. Other options, obviously, you have the Wolves defender size, Bolly, maybe in Hallgate. But if you want something differential, Charlie Taylor and Lewis Dunk are good options. Okay, guys, 4 minutes to the lineup. I'll be needing lineups from you guys as I cannot switch the screen. Okay, so as you were discussing Salah, I think Salah is no brain. Definitely is out of my team. I think we have to go with two City attackers in the game. Okay, Aditya says I have Greenwood, Bruno, Marshall, and only one City midfielder. Should I get Foden or Silva for Marshall? If you would ask me, Foden, but if you want someone who's going to start for sure and don't want rotation risk, maybe David Silva. Yared says hoping for Bruno and Greenwood blank. I'm like hoping for the exact same thing, Yared. Varun says, just repeating what you suggested to me. Dominic Calvert-Lewin into Inks and bench Mahrez playing Bournemouth. Yes, correct. I think, honestly, if I had to bench someone, I was Ben Mahrez. I benched him this week. He costed me, what, 3 points? But that's okay. Bruno can't blank, says Sydney. I think Bruno blanked in the 3-0 win over Sheffield United. He did not assist or score in that game week, so he definitely can blank. Also, a factor that he cannot score 15 points each game week, and hopefully, if he blanks this game week, he's a much more needed option against Crystal Palace. Okay, 2 minutes left. Someone must get some team news by now. I'm still deliberating my moves. I think um, a no hit this week and then Vardy out. I think also I have to look that if Salah, bring in Salah, I lose on Kevin De Bruyne for the Watford game, and Watford is going to be an easy game for City, just like cakewalk. So it's going to be easy. And I think I want to own two City attackers again for the maybe three City attackers. That's what I'm aiming for again in the game against Watford. Will you be doing an early team news and post it on Insta for Gaming 36? We'll wait for that till the end to do transfers. I'll be doing the early team news if I get some. I'll be posting it on the Instagram handle as well. Keep checking the stories. I'm not sure if we'll be able to post it, but keep checking and refreshing the page. As soon as something's out, we'll post it there as well. There's 1 minute left. I'll check the lineups if I have some. Wait for a second. There's no lineups for me as well. I think we can rely on chat for these lineups because okay, 30 the lineups will be out any minute, any second. I get them before you guys do, but let's just wait for a couple of more seconds and you guys can post it over here. United go with an unchanged 11 as expected. No changes to the United lineup. Southampton lineup I didn't bother to check much. So yeah, the deadline is tomorrow night. Yes, it's at 11:30 p.m. IST. So make sure you set your team before because most people will fall off by that. Unchanged lineup for United. Southampton, I'm not sure what they're lining up at the moment. I'll read it out for you guys in a second. David De Gea, Shaw Maguire, Lindelof, Van Bissaka, Matic, Pogba, Rashford, Bruno, Fernandes, Greenwood, and Martial. That's how United are lining up against Southampton. I hope that Southampton is playing a decent defensive side against United. I can't. I don't see why is Ole not changing. I think now it's eminent that he rotate against Crystal Palace. I think Greenwood definitely has to be benched, maybe even Marshall. The Southampton lineup is something like that. McCarthy, Burton, Burdinek, Stephens, Walker Peters, Redmond, Romeo. Uh, did I miss out on something? Ward-Prowse, Armstrong, Ings, and Adams. I think it's a strong lineup. Uh, Ward-Prowse, Armstrong, and Ings are the factors involved. Hopefully, they'll score a couple of goals. Aditya says, I'm thinking of Foden for him, Marshall, and Jimenez for Jesus for Jimenez. Jesus does have rotation risk, let me remind you. And if he plays 30 minutes, I'm not sure if he'll score a lot. If he plays 60, I'm sure he'll score. So if you want to take the risk, you can take the risk. There's no harm in it. Yolo Gamer says your score predictions for tonight's match. I think I'm not in the right state at the moment to predict anything. Honestly, because I'm too biased at the moment. If I had to, I would go 3-1 to United. Might be close as well, as close as 2 all as well. So for me, it's 3-1. Let's see how it pans out. Hopefully, Ings will score. That's something I'm really hoping for. And Rashford as well. Why do you think Greenwood would be wins against Crystal? Because they have the Chelsea match 2 days after the Crystal match, and Ole will definitely want to play his strongest 11 against Chelsea, in which Greenwood is definitely included. So that is a factor that will affect him, and I think he'll rotate the team. Man U 3, Southampton 1. Aditya says Manchester United 2, Southampton 1. 3-1 for me as well. I think that's where we'll wrap up the stream. If you guys have any other last minute questions or any other topics to discuss, we can do that as well, or else we'll wrap up the stream tonight. Three best City and Chelsea players for Game Week 36. Three best City players for Game Week 36, I think. De Bruyne, if he starts, or if he doesn't start, I will still have him. Foden and Sterling. Maybe Sterling or De Bruyne, your call. Foden and maybe David Silva or Ederson if you want to kneel on defender for him. Chelsea players William plus Pulisic, and I would go for Giroud. In fact, he was Giroud. There's a player that most people are overlooking is Mason Mount. If you want a differential player from Chelsea and just for a perspective of goals or assists, you can go and try Mason Mount as well. Should I remove Marshall for next week? Don't remove Marshall for next week. Look, see how he performs this week, and then take a decision. Yes, Bajaj, you're the best, mate. Cheers. Thanks a lot, yes, Bajaj. Great work, FPL tips. Thanks a lot, guys. If you don't have any other, if you have any other questions, actually, just put it on the live chat. We'll discuss and then we'll wrap it. Will Alonso start? I really doubt he'll start. We'll have the league lineup, so you'll get to know for sure. But according to me, Chelsea will play Reece James and Aspilicueta. Thanks for the input. Okay, I gotta go too. Thanks for the having the stream, says Yajat. Thanks, mate, for joining. Thanks, everyone, for joining. This is FPL Tips signing off. Cheers.